Hi, my name is Rachel Hawkinson, and right now you are at T-Hawk Studio. Art is important because it allows us the ability to create with no boundaries, and then it also allows us to problem solve, so we get to learn how to push materials and explore the world around us. And then the reason why I think art is the most important to me is because as an artist, we're visual storytellers. So we have the ability to allow somebody into our world, and as a viewer, we have the ability to go into another person's world and see the world from their perspective. And that's really important to get to know other people and to get to know how the world works. As a child, I grew up with a single dad. He only had daughters, so we were always out in the shop or the garage when he was home. He was a welder, and so with the oil field in Wyoming, I'm sure you're aware there's ups and downs, and when those down times would happen, he would do different projects, and he'd make bird perches, window well covers, bicycle racks, and it was always really cool because he'd do it in the driveway, and I would get to go outside. He'd let me wear a welding helmet. I had my own little special pair of small leather gloves, and whenever the welder was ready to start, he'd always let me push the button to get it going. And so you'd see this big machine just rumble into life, and you'd watch regular sheet and tubing turn into these functional items, and it had a really huge impact on me. And I think that's probably why the metals became such a important thing and a medium that I really related to. So the best piece of advice I've ever been given about 2 or 3 years into starting my own business, you kind of get these lulls where you're like, am I good enough? Should I be doing this? And I had a friend who actually sent me a video by Ira Glass, who's the host of This American Life, and it was on the creative process. And he basically just said we all kind of start somewhere, and we don't really know where we're going, but the best thing to do is keep making, keep telling a story. Make sure that you put yourself on a deadline, but the biggest thing is to never quit and never give up. And so no matter what problems come your way, you can always solve them, and sometimes the mistakes lead to the biggest successes. And so just never give up. I actually am very inspired by nature. I really love birds, obviously, but I also love other artists too. Like, I really enjoy Andy Cooperman. He's a metalsmithing artist. I was lucky enough to take a workshop with him. I love the way he uses form and different materials in his work. He sets ping pong balls and marbles sometimes, and so I love his work. I really love the old school stuff too, like the Fabergé eggs, and I love Wassily Kandinsky, not a metalsmith, but a painter. And I would just say my everyday life, I find inspiration from the little things that I come about and have the time to kind of really reflect and think on those little moments. And so I'm inspired by all kinds of stuff. I think inspiration can be found pretty much anywhere you look if you have an open mind. I really enjoy learning how far I can push something. In metal, it's, there's a fine line. You can take something really far and then you can melt through it, or you can hammer it just a little too much and then the whole piece, you kind of have to start over. And so I really enjoy being able to push things to their absolute extreme and find out how far I can go with things to be able to do more skills and make my work more interesting and throw more layers in there. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. There's 2 different ways that I kind of go about making work. One is I can sketch things out, every little detail, and then I'll start actually making it. But then there's another way where I will just start making something and kind of see where it goes. And so basically, you either have an idea or I let the materials kind of push me in a certain direction. And so that would be kind of my 2 different processes. Thank you for stopping by and checking out the studio. Make sure you go to the Nicolason and check them out too.